Welcome back to Melodic Memories of Light's Monarch. I'm Casey with another episode here, and today I wanted to actually talk about marriage. So, this episode that I'm recording right now is obviously going to be posted a little late, so apologies to everyone listening. But the reason being was because I went to my little cousin's wedding. I say little cousin, obviously, he's not that little. He's actually much taller than I am. He's just younger than me. So I think he's like 21, 22. And he got married over the weekend, which is insane. I know that it sure is something to be able to dedicate yourself to one person for life and to see the vow of marriage still being taken to this day by not only him but everyone that has a relationship nowadays. It's lovely to see because that is the most dedication you can give to one single person. And in my personal opinion, it's really beautiful. And there's a lot that goes into it. Like, it's never easy. I've noticed that, granted, I can't speak from experience because I've never been married myself, but to see some of my friends and family get married, and I was my dad's best man when he got remarried. Like, it's a lot of work put into a wedding, into one single day, but that one single day highlights the rest of your life with this one single person that you love more than anything. The one person that you feel to protect, and they will protect you all the same in return. Obviously, there's polyamorous relationships where you can get married to multiple people. Polygamy, I don't think that's legal, but granted, each to their own. Um, but on the topic of marriage itself, my little cousin, I've known him my whole life for what I can remember. He got married to this girl that he ended up going to junior high with. Like, grade 8 is when they met. And I think it's really something to say, like, just two little crushes, literal childhood crushes, can turn into an actual relationship and a marriage, like an adult marriage. And it really warmed my heart to see, because when they look at each other, you can really see that they're actually in love. And a lot of the times I've noticed when people get married, you don't really have to even ask them why. You can ask them how they met for sure, or what they were hoping to achieve, but like, you can understand the why just from looking at it. You look at them, look at the other person, and those little glances or those longing stares, and you can really tell that there is true, deep love, a huge, deep connection with them. And I was able to capture some of it on photo and video, of course, and it's something that just really warms my heart to see. Not only with them, but also with celebrities, with my parents, um, anyone. When you can really see the love, it's unlike anything, truly. It's on the level of music to where it's just something so pure and genuine. It's love, and love is in itself a form of art. And in saying so, it brings me back to a question that my roommate Logan actually asked me probably years ago at this point, but it was a conversation that he told me that he had with his mom. And he asked me, and I still haven't actually found an answer to it because I haven't asked my mom because I'm not getting married anytime soon to my knowledge. But the question being, what song would you have for your first dance with your mom or your dad, or most importantly, the person you're getting married to, your spouse? What song would that be and why? Because a lot of the times people have memories with songs. Again, as I've said before, that music is a huge thing when it comes to memories and people going back to certain moments in their mind. So when the question strikes, what song would you have a dance to together? it ends up making one think a little bit. And in saying so, for me personally, I don't know what songs that would be. But for my cousin there, he ended up having some music play throughout the whole night. It was actually an amalgamation of what everyone wanted, aside from, obviously, the first dance. And they were incredibly cute together. They danced to a song that they fell in love to, again, like kind of a song. I believe it was one that they heard on their first actual date together, and one that really speaks to them and they bonded over before. And like with the bride and her father was Disturbed, their cover of Sound of Silence, I believe. And I asked her after, and she said she didn't even like the song itself in particular, but because of what it meant and how it resembles something that her dad loves. Like, I remember the moment of it coming on and him just, like, you could visibly see, like, he was like, oh my God, in like a really authentic, genuine way. Like, he was caught off guard. He didn't expect it. And I think something like that's just really, really pretty to have these intimate moments. Like, everyone can hear a song, everyone can know it, the whole world can know it, but to you specifically, it means something special. And I feel like people don't really understand that with music, where everyone's going to have their own take on something. Just because you think it means something doesn't mean the other person's going to think it. And what it means to one is not going to mean to the other. It's all very subjective. And when it comes to weddings in particular, I really think that it's beautiful to see the connection that this person was able to make with a song, and for it to be played on one of the most important days, one of the most special days of their lives. And it also pertains to even graduating. I know it's a little different, but some people are never going to get married, and they've come to terms with that, or they don't even care to get married. Like, marriage isn't for everyone. It is a very old concept, and it's not completely necessary. I feel like if you love someone and you want to get married, then yeah, do it for that. 100%, just to show your bond in a physical way. But there's more ways around it. You can still have life partners and do these things and have these memories, these connections with music, and have these celebrations and moments without getting married, but just kind of a way to show that you really love the other person. And to have a full day dedicated to your guys' love. Like, be it husband and wife, wife and wife, husband, husband, well, regardless, love is love, in my opinion. And I don't see why one wouldn't want to get married if they really love their spouse. Or their partner, I should say, because spouse would mean you're already married. But I will admit, I understand there are people out there that don't agree with marriage or don't see themselves ever getting married because it's just, I think even my brother had said this at one point, that it's just a stupid old concept that is kind of a waste of money. And all things considered, that statement might have some merit to it. But I feel like love is just so powerful that it deserves that one special day. It deserves that just because you're going to be dedicating your life to it. Not everyone will. Not everyone even enjoys loving another person, obviously. But in this case in particular, it makes a lot of sense when you can see the love from just a glance. But back to graduation, it also is a special day in someone's life, like when you graduate high school or graduate university, whatever you graduate from. It's also a pretty special day, and it usually includes music. I remember my graduation in particular, since I can't really speak on marriage as I've never experienced it yet, so maybe someday down the line we'll see. But with graduation in particular, I remember everyone having their own song. Like, they were able to pick what song meant something special to them and to walk down the aisle to the stage, and then another song to walk back down the aisle outside. And what it resembles is just the coming and going of time and what songs are particularly important or speak to you or resemble really what resembles you, be it an inside joke from you and all your classmates like mine. Mine, I walked down the aisle to the stage on my graduation day to All Star by Smash Mouth. Would I have done that if it wasn't for the time that I graduated? Probably not. I can say I love Shrek. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Shout out to the people that know what that is. What a time to be alive. But yeah, it was All Star by Smash Mouth. And I walked down the aisle, my friends and classmates dying over the fact that that's what I actually chose because I joked about it because it was a huge meme at the time. I remember this John Sudano guy on YouTube. He would play covers of All Star and like how do I explain it? Because it's a hilarious concept, but to people that have never seen it, they probably wouldn't really understand. You wouldn't get it. But it was this guy that had a camera just and a guitar essentially, and I think the first one, or at least first one I remember seeing, was "Bring Me to Life," but All Star. And "Bring Me to Life" by Evanescence. It was essentially that song, like the lyrics, set to the music of All Star. It sounds stupid, and that's because it is, and that's where the enjoyment comes from. And I would actually, I think for the first semester, if not the whole year of grade 12, like there was a big chunk of time that I was doing this every single day, which, yes, I know, looking back, I was probably incredibly fucking annoying, but I would sing it every day. Acapella that shit hard. That was just what I did. And my whole class, it was always the very first period of the day, had a spare, nothing else to do. We all sat in the foyer. And yeah, it'd be a daily thing of watching the new upload by John Sedano and me reciting it, essentially. And that in itself is just an insight to why I picked All Star, because it was an inside joke. To people looking in, a lot of the people in the crowd even might have been like, why? They might have thought I just liked the song. And that's the thing. You never know until you ask or until someone just straight up tells you what their connection is to a certain song. And with me personally, All Star by Smash Mouth was a song that I always enjoyed because of Shrek. But it wasn't until I made that specific connection with my classmates and my friends, most particular, that it meant something to me, and enough so that I wanted it to be played on my special day, at least the most special day I was about to have until the inevitable marriage day comes. And that's when you get to sit down with your wife and really talk about it, or I should say partner, regardless. Again, love is love. But you sit down with your partner and you get to talk about, do you remember this time when we first met, this song we first danced to? Like, there's all these moments, and they're ones that one might not think about all the time, but when that song comes on and that feeling hits, you just know it's right. To speak a little bit on graduation some more, though, my grad class was tiny, so we were able to have a song as we walked out as well. And granted, when I say a song, it's not the full song. I think it was maybe like 15 to 20 seconds of the song for whatever part you wanted. You could literally do any part of a song. And for my walking back out song, like from the stage out of the gymnasium at the time, was In the End by Black Veil Brides. And I knew from, I guess, the day that I actually thought about graduation and started planning for said graduation, I instantly knew already that In the End would be the song. Or if not that specifically, I knew Black Veil would be a part of it because of how important Black Veil Brides is to me as my own person. They helped me find my individuality going throughout high school. They helped me through a really dark time when I tried to really hurt myself in ways that just are not okay. And they gave me the strength to push through. And obviously, that's why they're still a huge deal to me. I have them tattooed on my body, or at least an image from them in terms of like their iconography, their logo, if you will. Um, it's just important things that music ends up speaking in a way that people just can't seem to. Like you could say something to somebody, but when it has music behind it and is a song, I know I'm speaking just for me personally here, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks it. That music is important and it makes something have permanence. It makes you really remember something. And with Black Veil Brides, in the end, it was the perfect song that I could think to play. And there were songs from Black Veil Brides that mean more to me than In the End. I will admit that. In the End was just a perfect kind of closing because it was the end. The end of my high school career, the end of my school life. Because I personally didn't go to college, I didn't pursue any more schooling, I just did the classic of, oh, let me take some years off and then we'll see what I do. And obviously, looking back, probably wasn't the best option, but here I am. I've accepted where I'm at, and honestly, I don't think I'd want to be anywhere else. Because you think about life in particular, and you think, well, what if I would have done this instead? What if I would have went here instead of there? Like, for me personally, as I go on a little tangent here, I was originally supposed to move to the UK and live in London. It was a thought that I had and an idea that I really wanted to do just to get away, a new change of pace. I've always wanted to see London and I still haven't to this day. And it's kind of sad to say. But I chose to come here where I live currently in Grand Prairie and I regretted it for a little while because my reasoning wasn't exactly the best. When one's blinded by love, yes, I moved here for a girl. Not incredibly proud of it because you always hear people say don't move for a person. And I feel like that advice should be taken, but with a grain of salt. Because when it's the right person, I feel like you just know. Like, looking back on it, obviously hindsight is 2020, but I knew that that wasn't truly my person with everything that her and I went through and just it was a really messy time. I was finding myself, I was becoming the man I am today and it was just really messy and not the messiest relationship that I went through or at least had to get over, but it was something that looking back on it I really shouldn't have done. But since I moved here. I met my best friends. Like the people that I went to high school with, if they're listening, hello, please reach out to me. I would love to talk and at least say hi, but I can almost guarantee that they're not because no one from high school has ever reached out. And it's on me too. I've never reached out to them. But it's always easier when music's involved to where if there's like a song or a band playing or a certain thing, it's an easy way to be like, hey, do you remember this? Even if you guys haven't talked in forever. Like, I remember seeing a meme on, must have been Facebook or Instagram, even Twitter, who knows? But I do remember seeing like a little post say, if we're ever not talking or ever out of contact, send me a song. No words, just send me a song, and that's enough. And I think that speaks volumes on its own because this song has memories associated to it. Maybe the lyrics in it is something you want this certain person to hear, and nothing else can really do that. You can write a paragraph to this person, but are they going to care to read it? No. Probably not, because they never cared to reach out, and you never cared to reach out to them either. And with a song, though, it's something easy for someone to listen to in a quick manner, and something that most people enjoy. Like, I don't think there's anyone out there that really dislikes music. If there is, they're not my kind of person, to be honest. Each to their own, but we probably wouldn't get along. Music's a huge thing for me, as you probably could tell. And it's just the special moments, the big days, these broken connections that you might find across life. Music seems to find a way to repair them, or at least build a bridge to where you can then repair said relationship and really move forward with said person, be it a lover, a friend, an old friend, even just family members too. Like it doesn't have to be anything to do with that kind of like romantic love. It can still be the platonic, like you love a family member, right? But on my special day, those were my songs. Apologies for the tangent, but I just really enjoyed the wedding that I went to. And as I said earlier, this episode's late because I went out to Falaire. I got a little bit lost, not gonna lie. Why the hell is there 3123 house numbers? Like, so, okay. The address I was given was 123 Street. And I'm not gonna say where because, God, I don't want to don't want to dox my family. But those locate like that address. Okay, I put it into Google Maps. It took me where I thought was the right place. Got to the door, rang the doorbell, no answer. I was like, okay, there's no cars around here. Am I at the right place? I look in the backyard, empty. And yeah, kind of trespassed, but I wasn't doing it with ill intentions. So at least there was no one there yelling at me, so thank God. But I did get to eventually make it to the right place after going to another 123 house that was also the wrong one. It wasn't until the third one. And this is all within like a block of each other. Like, I don't know how it's possible. I don't know who designed that town. It's really strange. But in any in any sense, I eventually got there. I was able to see my family, and it just goes to speak to the importance of a wedding, to where it's a big special day. It is that person and their lover's special day. And I remember going up to my cousin and being like, "Hey man, I made it." And he was shocked because when he invited me, he had a talk with me and he said, I will invite you, but I don't want you to let me down. And obviously, I told him, it's your big day, bro. Like, I'm not gonna let you down. That's important. I'm gonna be there. And I don't know if it's because he's been lied to in the past. I don't know if it's because whatever in his past. It was something, obviously, some sort of trauma. Regardless of what it was, I proved him wrong. Or I at least proved that doubt inside of him wrong. And to see his face light up the way it did, was something that I'll probably never forget. It was an intimate moment, just him and I, and just being able to be like, hey man, congratulations. And then, it wasn't soon after that the whole wedding started and I got to see them get married. So shout outs to Shane and Mariah, my cousin, and his now wife. Shout outs to you too. I wish you to the absolute best and a long, fruitful marriage. It's insane, honestly, that you guys got married. It feels like, I don't know, it just feels like a huge moment, and I'm so glad I was able to be there for it, and I am so proud of you two. You might never listen to this, but just wanted to say that. Now, as I was saying, marriage, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think the music that is at your marriage is also a very important thing, and it speaks volumes to who you are as a person, what kind of music you have there, what kind of connection you have with said music. And I know for me personally, the music at my wedding, there's going to be some emo bangers there, like 110%. But I don't want to jump the gun. I'm not getting married anytime soon to my knowledge. And, it's just a nice little thought to be like, one day, one day it'll happen. And I don't think that day will be incredibly far off, but life works in mysterious ways, and you just got to stay hopeful every step of the way. So, in saying all that, though, sorry if this was a little bit rambly, but it was a little bit last minute, this podcast, and I just kind of wanted to get my thoughts out about marriage in itself and how the importance of music really pushes a marriage and can even sometimes, in my opinion, guide the marriage to success. Like, I know that's a lot to say because a song is just a song, but when you have such a connection with this person, the bond that you two share, you're getting married to them, so obviously there's a huge bond there. And with said bond, it's amplified by said music. I think there really isn't a couple that I've ever talked to, be it married or not, that hasn't had a song that they consider theirs, like quote unquote theirs. And it'd be a song that maybe they heard on their very first date, maybe a song that they first met to, a song that they fell in love to, like those important things. And I know that there's people that I can think of, be it romantically or not, that I can, yeah, there's a song for that person. And, be it one that we listened to together, or when I first met them, it was playing. Shout out to my friend Crystal. She is in Chicago. We met at a music festival, and she's incredibly important to me. And we met to Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides. We met to Black Veil Brides first, and then Motionless in White. First song they played was Devil. And if it wasn't, then that's one of the songs they played. Oh my God, don't crucify me. I'm sorry, Crystal, if I misremembered that. But it's those moments that are just important. Black Veil, Motionless, those two bands, when I think of them, like, yes, Black Veil means a lot to me, but I can't help but think of her as well when it comes to those specific songs they played that specific night, and it just kind of pulls me back. And one in particular is actually Death Cab for Cutie. It wasn't the band that we met to, but it was an intimate moment that her and I were able to share. And because I really liked them, obviously they were one of my favorite like emo bands back in the day. And I don't know if emo is the right call, but they're pretty emo. They played the When We Were Young Fest, so get real. But that was probably the moment, because it was just a moment for the two of us to relish in the music. It was just, even though we were in a sea of people, it was like it was just the two of us. And when I think of Death Cab for Cutie in particular, that moment is just a really big moment, and I think it speaks a lot on her and I and our relationship together and how we're kind of inseparable at this point. So, hello, Crystal. I hope you're having a good time listening to this and me just kind of stumble over my words. But, yeah, it was an important moment, and there's many important moments throughout life like that that have a song or have a band or have music to accompany it. And you know what? It can even be a movie soundtrack, too. Maybe your first date was going to the movies and it was a Disney movie. That has music in it. Maybe you went and seen Frozen 2, God knows down the line, Frozen 5. Like, it's all going to have music, and those songs can still mean something to somebody and prove to be a special song that would play at their eventual wedding or whatever sort of celebration. Maybe you guys get together and the first thing you do is look at them and play a song, and you're able to go right back to that moment. And to wrap up all my rambling, I guess, is just to say music is incredibly important, and the thought process behind certain songs, it might be an arduous one and might take a lot of time to really pinpoint what song is important to you both, really, when it comes to marriage in particular. But at the end, when it comes down to everything, it shouldn't be incredibly hard, because that connection you share with said person is probably going to last forever if it's real. And it's hard to know that without, that connection ending, but you just have to have faith in another person, and it's really hard for people to do. But when you have love, like I seen just this past weekend with my cousin and his wife, you can just see the love in their eyes, their glances, like, that's really it. there's not much more to say. There's not much more I can even say about it. It's just, you know when you see it. And when you see that it's real, nothing else matters. So, thanks again for listening to my rambles. If you guys want any makeup, go check out Curse Cosmetics, please. They have an amazing selection of gothic makeup, stuff that I fucking love. I would love to get some of it. I'm not a huge makeup wearer, but when it comes to concerts or certain events, I might want to throw on some makeup, and Curse Cosmetics is the place to do it. It's the place to go for some bands. They have certain collections of makeup. I know Black Veil Brides has their Bleeders collection, which I am very excited to get. And I hope that everyone that has ordered it already is enjoying their product. And yeah, use the code LIGHTSMonarch at checkout for 10% off. And in saying that, there's been some new music coming out, but I unfortunately haven't been listening. It's been kind of a wishy-washy process of trying to fall back in love with music, because I'm never going to fall out of love with music. It's going to always be one of the most important things to me. But I won't deny or lie over the fact that with the overabundance of music that we've been getting lately, it's been hard to really sit with an album for too long, or for something to really sit and simmer. So I'm just kind of giving everything a break when it comes to new music. So if there's anything that you guys as a listener have found over the past year, it doesn't matter, let me know what you like. Give me some recommendations. Let me see what's out there that isn't just in my view. Because I love music and that's never going to change. But I will say, with the oversaturation of everything, it's gotten hard to really appreciate a piece of music and let it sit with you. I found myself just saving things and then leaving and never going back to them. And it's sad to say, because music is important to me. I want it to be an important part, but there's just too much to really listen to for myself personally. So I'm letting everything kind of sit with myself a little bit longer than what I was trying to do. I was trying to stay up to date, but it's not going to happen. I think the only thing I could really shout out is Acres. They're a band that's from the UK. I think Glasgow, maybe? Might be wrong in saying that, but they're from the UK all the same. They're amazing dudes. Speaking of my friend Crystal, she actually went and seen them when they hit up Chicago. They were an opening band for, can't remember exactly who, but I told her about the show. Obviously, they don't come to Canada. I think they might have made a Toronto date, but nowhere near me. And regardless, though, they released their new single, Deadweight. It's from their upcoming album that they're actually going to be releasing, or rather EP that they're going to be releasing, called What It's Like to Feel Worthless. Comes out October 25th. And just a 5-track EP. I think the 5th track, though, is just an acoustic version. So really only 4 songs that are, new. But you can go pre-order it on their website. I believe Solid State Records is the record label. And yeah, that's really the only one I have to talk about, because that's the only one I listened to recently. Love them. Their music is very emotional, very sad. But I'm a sad boy. It speaks to me. I can't help it. I love shit that devastates me. So if you have anything that you want to send my way, let me know at LightsMonarch on all socials. And thanks again for listening to all of my rambles. And also, thank you for discovering the music within.